community, and welcome back to Uncovering Sexual Health. Today we're going to be talking about safe and unsafe touches. So come along with me and let's get learning. Today I have with me Dee and Charlie, and I'm going to be using these dolls to model safe touches and asking for hugs. And then I'll talk about unsafe touches. Safe touches that we generally see at home, in school, or at the community are high fives. So like this, high five. They might be handshakes. We haven't been able to do many of those lately, but maybe we can start. Another safe touch could be a hug. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Give somebody a hug. And sometimes maybe just a pat on the back, like, hey, great job. Or a tap on the shoulder if you want to say hi. So there's lots of different safe touches, and I think you could brainstorm a bunch more. And that would be a great idea to do with your class. Not all of us will feel good or safe with those touches. So it's really important that we ask if we can have a hug or a high five. And you might see this in class where your teacher might ask if you want a high five, a handshake, or a hug. And it's always good to ask. Asking permission to touch somebody's body is very important, and it's called consent. This is something that we need to practice. Some people might not like to be touched on the head or the back or the hand or the foot or the shoulder. Everyone's bodies are different and how we react to touches is different. So it's really important to ask people if you can touch them or give them a hug. So for example, Dee and Charlie have been going to school for quite some time. And Dee is a really huggy person. But Charlie doesn't really like hugs that much. So when they were little, Dee used to always run up and hug Charlie because she was so excited to see him. And Charlie wouldn't feel very good and he didn't like it and he wouldn't want to get close to Dee. Dee learned that she needed to ask Charlie's permission before she gave him a hug. So let's show you what that looks like. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Dee. Charlie, can I give you a hug? I'm super excited today. No thanks, not right now. Oh, okay. Can I give you a high five instead? Sure thing. When you ask permission to touch somebody, it makes everybody feel good. Charlie feels respected because Dee asked if she could give him a hug, and he said no, and she was okay with that. She respected Charlie's wishes not to have a hug. So this would be a good time to brainstorm in a class what safe touches are, but then even doing your own personal safe touches. What kind of touches do you feel okay with, and what touches do you not feel okay with? That's super important. I'm going to have a worksheet down below that you can do with the class. Okay, we're going to move on to unsafe touches. Everyone's going to react a little bit differently to touching. Some people might have a startle reflex, so when you tap them on the shoulder, they might tense up and freeze. Other people might be just totally fine with it. So if we think about unsafe touches, we need to think about how our body is responding and listen to our body. Unsafe touches generally make our stomachs feel icky and tight. It might make us feel like we're going to get sick or throw up. Unsafe touches are also going to impact how we're breathing. We might hold our breath while we're kind of in a frozen or fear state. We might breathe shallowly or quickly, and our face might get pale, or we might clench our jaws. We might even be tightening up our fists, and our whole body might be really tight and tense. So think about how your body feels when people give you a handshake or a high five or a hug, and listen to that response. Unsafe touches are going to make us feel that way. Lots of times when we're talking about unsafe touches, we're talking about touches that are touching our private parts. So D, her private parts are her breasts, her vulva, her bum, and her anus. So if any of those parts of her body were touched, those are unsafe touches and she needs to tell an adult right away. The body parts on D that are no-go zones are his penis and testicles, his bum and anus. And if anybody touched him on those parts, he needs to tell an adult right away. If you're with somebody and they're touching you and you don't feel good or feel safe, you need to practice saying no and get away. You also need to be able to talk to a trusted adult. So a trusted adult could be a mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandparents, a friend's parents. It could be your teacher or an EA at school or the secretary or the bus driver. Somebody that you trust that you could talk to. And those people will help you. If somebody touches parts of your body, like say your leg or your back, and it makes you feel uncomfortable, you should also tell an adult and they can help you problem solve to keep yourself feeling good and safe around different people. For example, if it's a friend who likes to hug and the other friend doesn't, safe adults in your life can help you talk about it so that both people feel good. Thank you for joining me today, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. Stay safe.